Mulumendo no mukasiwali no wafya. Mulumendo no mukasiwali no wafya. Umukasi wako kuchiwempala ile kunga. Umukasi wako kuchiwempala ile kunga. Atine ndefu ayafye, umuti wafyashi. Atine ndefu ayafye, umuti wafyashi. Inganga yatile, ati ukembe sansa, no muwanga. Itisimba, ino lya msungu. Inganga yatile, ati ukembe sansa, no muwanga. Itisimba, ino lya msungu. Umukasi wako mowine aide kumikomfo. Umukasi wako mowine aide kumikomfo. Atieko na umfile nganga yatine. Atieko na umfile nganga yatine. Matine ndefu ayafe umuti wafyashi. Matine ndefu ayafe umuti wafyashi. Inganga yatile, imishila ya mukole no mupapi. Itisima umutima kanyerere. Inganga yatile, imishila ya mukole no mupapi. Itisima umutima kanyerere. No mwaka walikwa wabulo mwana. No mwaka walikwa wabulo mwana. Umulume yatile kasi chukutala. Umulume yatile kasi chukutala. Umukasi yatile kasi tuye kuchipatala. Umukasi yatile kasi tuye kuchipatala. Alima kuti wampela ko umuti wafyashi. Alima kuti wampela ko umuti wafyashi. Loko tapimine ati mayori wino no mufyashi. Waikwata no mabalume bo uwafya besana wakorowa. Loko tana wapima ebele ati mayori wino no mufyashi. Waikwata no mabalume bo uwafya besana wakorowa. Lekeritale, 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 achura. Lekeritale, 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 achura. Lekemkashale, 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 achura. Lekemkashale, 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 achura. Muleke mwinale amulakolo. Muleke mwinale amulakolo. Chine muleke mwinale amulakolo. Chine muleke mwinale amulakolo. Lekeritale, 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 achura. Lekeritale, lekeritale.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, Chuempala. Good evening, world. Good evening from wherever you are carrying our signal from. My name is Elias Munsha, and with us here, starting off with this discussion, is my co-host and my co-presenter, General Norman Chipakupaku. However, he looks like he's just getting set up. And so I am going to give him a few minutes to ensure that he gets himself well settled. We missed him yesterday because he's in transit to Zambia. He can freely say that he's in transit. For me, I had to come in. Yari kakana, yari shupa. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Right now, the ones that are starting off with this discussion is Advocate Malisa. Advocate Malisa is based in Lusaka. He's a lawyer with about 4 years standing on the Zambian bar. And he will be our expert who will be helping us to understand Zambian law and several other things going forward. Advocate Malisa, are you there? People, we want to see you just say hello for a little bit and then we get started.
Thank you, Council. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, thank you. We look forward to hearing more from you as we go. I don't know whether it's your mic. There's an echo, so we are going to work on that as we go. No problem.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. There's still the echo, but we'll correct it as we go.
Okay.
Right. Okay, thank you. General, you are there, so I can see that you are now well set up. You see, when we travel, we are out of our normal comfort zones, so there is a little bit of issue with picture. And so that is why my pictures also had issues. When I go back to Calgary, it's going to be just fine. So General, please hold on. And when you come to Zambia, it will be even worse for you. And so let's just enjoy this. There is no complaint so far. None of our viewers have complained about our video. And so that's okay. And then we have got Dr. David Kajila, David Kajila in Canada, in the Toronto area. Dr.
Yes.
Kajila, you're welcome.
Thank you. Is my mic okay?
Your mic is fine. Yeah, your mic is fine. So you're welcome.
Thanks for welcoming me, because I just felt I cannot miss out on this. It's almost like an ultimate stage where we've done all this talking and now we're closing a chapter. So I thought I should be part of it.
All right. Yes, indeed. Please do. There are several other of our friends that are going to be joining us. Mr. Frank Saliki, Vashi Alex, you're welcome. Nimbona Mwanoyo.
Good evening. Look, we're having a big fun. He's going to have a lot to say today. He's going to have a lot to say.
You're training him well. He's starting very early.
Yeah.
You start them young.
Yeah, that's good, Mr. Saliki. Now, I do have one surprise for you, our dear listeners, and that's the reason why I am going to hand over the reign of this program over to General, because I must have a meeting right now with a very exciting member of parliament. Now, you guess where this MP is from. I give you 1 second.
Mwandi.
Mwandi, I would be with an MP from Mwandi here?
Yes.
General?
Chiwempala.
Who said Chiwempala?
Answer is not Chiwempala, just go.
Chiwempala.
So I introduce to you Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, Member of Parliament for Chingola. There he is.
Wow. Honorable Chipoka Mlenga. What is up? I should have got this. Welcome.
I thought you would.
And congratulations.
General, thank you very much. And everyone else, but Frank Saliki, Dr. David Kajila, thank you very much for having me on your program. Of course, Bamunsha would.
Honorable, I normally we normally start this program by saying good evening to Impala. I haven't said that.
So I was surprised why you had to go to Mwandi instead of saying an MP for Chiwempala.
So
Actually,
really, it's good evening Chiwempala and good evening Zambia, and it's just fantastic that you are able to join us on the program. Munsha, that's a surprise. You've really surprised me for that, and it's fun. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. Really, really, really honored to host you. And Munsha, you're a lucky man. You fought hard for this man to win. You fought hard.
Oh yeah, he flew all the way from Canada. He flew all the way from Canada to Chiwempala to vote for me. And here I am, a Chiwempala MP.
That's one of the most expensive votes you've ever got, Your Honorable.
Oh, you can say that again.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome, sir. You're most welcome. Are you ready for the inauguration tomorrow then?
Very ready, and a lot of people from Chiwempala are very ready. And just this evening, I just want to spend a little time just to say thank you very much to you, General, and the colleagues there. You have done a great job, but I can assure you, to bring this change that we are witnessing today and tomorrow we are yet to witness. Without your voice, I can assure you probably could be telling a different story. So on behalf of the people from Chiwempala, we just want to thank you, Munsha, you, General, and every member of this panel that has always been a voice of reason for the people of Zambia generally. So Nainewin, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the people of Chiwempala to have listened to you, believed in your words, and actualizing that word by voting for change. And that is for our president, Hakainde Hichilema, who will be the 7th Republican president of Zambia. So I am so grateful, and may God continue blessing you. Thank you. That's all I had for you.
I just want to say thank you.
So honored to have you. And
thank you. Thank you, Doc.
We know you've got a big task ahead of you. You've got a big task ahead of you in Parliament, and you've also got a big task to support the president. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday when I arrive, and we just hope that you can enjoy the inauguration tomorrow. And winning is something else, but we have to deliver our manifesto. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
General, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and all the best in your program.
You are most welcome, sir. Thank you so much, Munsha, for the surprise. That was a sweet one, a sweet surprise.
I think tomorrow I'll do a surprise on Mwandi. I'll have Honorable Sefulo Kakoma here, and I'll give you a surprise.
I will be at the airport. I hope I can do a quick live one before I take off. So that'll be fantastic. So this evening,
now, General.
Go ahead.
General, before I go off, I just needed to calm some nerves here regarding cards, invitation cards. Now, I think what is happening, General, what I suspect, I don't know. I don't have any official statement from the UPND or from government. I don't speak for them. Bantu, I don't speak for them. But it appears like this is the first presidential transition we are having in the history of our country. A transition that takes a week. Usually, umuntu ngawina kuma 6 by 14 hours nishi already sworn in pa parliament nangu pa Supreme Court grounds. So takwale be period ya kwabati the transition period. And then of course it's from one party to another, so there is always that gap. I suspect that is where the gap for invitation cards could be. Personally, I might have expected more, but I only have one general. But I'm not complaining, because I do understand and I sympathize with the transition team and your party, General. So Inenadiba very reasonable. So I understand but your party was faced with a very serious issue.
Yeah, Munsha and our viewers, I think this has been the first time that we have given it a week or so transition, and then this is also the first time that we are seeing the cabinet office quickly trying to take over the transition, which is okay, but it looks like there was no coordination at all with the cabinet office and the secretariat of the UPND, and this has left a very, very bad taste in a lot of UPND members.
Wiseman, could you kindly switch off your mic, Wiseman?
Wiseman, can you just unmute yourself, sir? Hello, Wiseman. If he's not able to mute himself,
I'm just doing it.
Can we put him aside, please? Can we take Wiseman off behind the studio? Thank you.
Okay.
So this is the first time when we have had this issue over the transition, and I think the cabinet office wanted to take control, and the secretariat of UPND also wanted people invited, and this is the first time to be seeing buses coming from provinces. And I think that has left a lot of problems. A lot of the UPND senior people from the provinces, even in Lusaka, have not managed to get cards. What is annoying, though, is to hear that some PF cadres have got cards, official cards, and they are showing these cards off on social media. And that, to me, must have been a serious mistake. I don't see how a PF cadre who was insulting UPND officials, was insulting HH 2 weeks ago, can end up having a card to go and sit in the VIP seats. To me, that's the biggest insult from the cabinet office. So I just want to just calm the nerves down, Musa. We have come all this way. We are on tomorrow's inauguration. My appeal is to the security team of UPND. Screen these people in when they go in. Seriously screen them, and also
this is no longer General. This is no longer UPND security. No longer UPND security.
So it's going to be the state security. It's going
your candidate now. Your candidate now is a state property, and so unfortunately, your party's security is no longer has done its job.
Yeah, that I do. So my appeal really is to the security team that the state security has to remember that this is the 7th president of Zambia, and they have to play their role. And my appeal is to all the institutions who are responsible for security. I personally, Musha, you know what I think about the police. You know that. But it's up to those patrols in the police, in the army, in the OP, in the Air Force, in the army, to make sure that this president is protected. But it has left a very bitter test in the minds of a lot of UPND supporters. I've personally received so many emails.
I think, General, I don't know why you are mixing up two things together. There is the issue of cards, and then there is the issue of the president's security. I think the president will be secure. The president is secure, and our people should rest assured that the Zambian security forces will secure our asset. I have no doubt about that. There were some rumors about an assassination or anything like that. There will be nothing like that. If there was, our security forces may have already neutralized it. So we have no issues with that, and we shouldn't. Let's trust our institutions.
Yeah. The only issue, Munsha, which I have is there are too many people who have traveled from the provinces. And I hear there's the limit on the stadium, which is 50,000. What happens with the rest who won't be able to get into the stadium? If they got any contingency measures, if they got screens outside, or if they got screens in, let's say, another stadium where they can, I don't know. What have you?
I think the best thing to say is if you are a Lusaka resident, I think stay at home and watch from television. Give chance to travelers so that they can enjoy the live show. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good for us to go there where because it might be chaotic.
Yeah, that is my biggest worry. I don't know those who are in Lusaka, Musha. Is the advocate Marisa the right one to tell us?
Yeah, Advocate Marisa, we can always rely on him from time to time to give us an idea of what is on the ground, and also general things. So, Advocate Marisa.
Munsha, there is a feedback. Anybody who's got mic still on, please. Can you mute yourself? Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think General, we have an issue with Advocate Malisa's mic, and I think we are going to look into it going forward. But when he's speaking, is okay. It's only when we are speaking that there is that echo.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go to the next person who's in Lusaka. Peter Chai Mainga, are you in Lusaka?
No. Let Advocate Malisa say something.
Okay. Let's go to Advocate Malisa. What is your take, Advocate Malisa?
Good evening. Good evening, General.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Go ahead, sir. You're loud and clear.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you for having me on the program. Yeah, I'm not quite clear what your question is with regards to the situation in Lusaka. Is your question to do with the cards or the inauguration in general?
It's the cards. The cards. A lot of people are complaining that they've not received cards. And we're seeing a lot of cards being displayed by PF cadres. And the question is, there's also a limit to the stadium, which is 50,000. That's what we hear. You have to correct me there if I got it wrong. So what do you think is happening?
Okay. To start with, the inauguration will be at the Heroes Stadium. And that stadium, by design, has a capacity of 50,000 people. So there's nothing sinister about the government limiting the number of people going there, plus the issue of COVID. So what I'm hearing is only about 35,000 people will be allowed there. I'm not quite sure on the numbers, but I know it won't be packed to capacity. Then the issue of the cards, maybe do I need to go into legalese or what? Right now, we're going through a transition period where we have an incumbent and we also have a president-elect. So what is supposed to happen is the moment someone is declared the winner of an election, the state machinery takes over. So the organization of the inauguration is being handled by government, and it's under the secretary to the cabinet. So they are the ones who are responsible for issuing the cards, and they're the ones who are responsible for inviting foreign dignitaries as well as local VIPs. So the situation of cards being found with PF cadres is kind of unfortunate, because I also don't have a VIP card. But I'm not saying I'm entitled to a VIP card, but I think the government can look into that and see that no one is disenfranchised from attending the inauguration. All I can say is, I guess even the PF cadres want to go for the inauguration because the current president, His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwa, is also going to be there to hand over the instruments of power. So my guess is they also want to see the outgoing president handing over the instruments of power. That's my take on this. I don't want to sound any conspiracy theories. I don't want to find the conspiracy theories out there, but that's the situation.
Yeah, from our viewers, John Wilson Sakala too says this evening to UPND members are very upset, no lie. PF cadres with cards, busy displaying them on the social media, which is true. I've seen a number of them. And Mo himself says there are 3 satellite sites, OIDC. I'm not sure whether this is the Commonwealth Center, Woodland Stadium, and in Koloma, where the inauguration will be screened. I'm not sure whether somebody can confirm that. Shadrach Frogson also says there will be screens available. And Juma Simonza says there is in Koloma Stadium and the YDC. So it looks like they've made arrangements for other people to go to other stadiums, Council. So let's hear from Ed and Mobomba Kalumbiro Pascal says ODC, Woodlands, and Koloma large screens have been set up. So that's good news, I think. People can go to that. And so let's go to Peter. Peter, are you in Lusaka?
No, General. I'm in Choma currently.
You are in Choma. What are you hearing, Choma, about the UPND, the cards, and anything to do with the inauguration? Are we ready? One thing which made me happy was to hear the Tonga drums being played in Independence Stadium today. What are you getting?
Yeah.
What are you hearing from Lusaka, Peter?
From Lusaka currently, we are really crying over the issue of the cards. But most of us are not really going there. We are enjoying from home. Since we cannot access the cards, we have just decided to slaughter some cows. So if anyone wants to come, if anyone wants to come, you can just come with chili and salt.
So is it true, Peter? Is it true that you guys in the south, you're going to slaughter cows?
Yes, tomorrow you can just come if you are willing. Just come with chili and salt.
And are you going to take some of this meat to Lusaka for people in Lusaka to enjoy?
Yeah, a lot of cows have already been. I think have already been transported to Lusaka for tomorrow. But unfortunately, I hear most of the chiefs have donated the cows, but unfortunately, people have not received the cards. So it's really a challenge. We don't really know how people are going to go about it tomorrow, because a lot of people are going there and then they're not going to be given access without cards. So we don't know what is happening with the government.
Yeah, but I think you've heard what the Council Malise said. As soon as His Excellency HH was declared the winner, the state takes over, which means the Secretary of the Cabinet, Cabinet Office takes over. And I hope that our people can understand that during this transition, that's what happens, which means the Secretariat hands over this national asset to the states. But I would understand. I mean, if I was in Lusaka, I would also be looking for a card. If I didn't get a card, I think I would be upset as well. But
in general, what is it?
35,000 or 50,000 is a very small number. We don't want to have 50,000 and then people end up dying in the stadium. We don't want to do that to happen at all.
Yeah, it's really a very small number, because tomorrow we are really expecting people to fight, because a lot of people wants to go and witness what is happening. And moreover, General, most of the PF cadres have been given cards, and we don't know how many PF cadres have been allowed to go there, and we don't know how many of our members have been allowed to go there. So we're not really sure what is going to happen there inside tomorrow. We're not free outside here.
I think what is important there. I think what is important
can I step in? Can I step in?
Just Frank first. After Frank, let's have Dr. Kajila. Go ahead, Frank.
I think there's something that is very important. We don't know the actual numbers of the people who have been given the card. So before everybody rises up in arms and saying, we got all of this many people, we got some PF people have got tickets and we haven't. We don't know the actual numbers. We can't say 20,000 PF people have got tickets. We've seen a handful of people displaying these tickets, but we have not seen enough numbers to come up and to create a big argument of we have not got the tickets that we want. It's 35,000. If there's a football match at Hero Stadium, even if everybody in the country wanted to get a ticket, not everybody in the country gets a ticket. And with this, it was always going to be inevitable that not everybody who wanted a ticket was going to get hold of a ticket. And we have to accept that before we start saying PF people have got tickets and we haven't. Because it will just cause unnecessary wrangles. And I think it's really unnecessary at this stage.
Thank you so much, Frank, for that. And there are a lot of confirmations from our viewers here. Honorable Chama Wasalaba says general screens are put, is also confirming the Nkoloma Stadium and fitted with big screens just in case people over 50,000 people, no worries about that, he says. And then there is also another complaint from Peggy Chiazo says the spouses of members of parliament have not been given any cards, the new MPs, which is sad. So, Dr. Kazila, what do you think is happening?
Yeah, I wanted to bring in an aspect of health here. We are still living in COVID-19 third wave. It hasn't completely gone. And I think the planners of this occasion should have taken everything in context in terms of safety for the people, because it's one thing to celebrate, but we have to celebrate safely. I know it's hard, but we have to think about healthcare. So it may also be possible that since it's a government-run event, they have looked into the number of cards vis-a-vis the current situation of COVID, reduce the capacity of that stadium so that there's some semblance of social distancing as well. You don't want to pack the place up with people and just have a wave of infections spread around the country. So I think that aspect needs to be. And then I also wondered if they had a system on how they were going to distribute these invitations, and maybe Cabinet Office needs to come, or somebody who works there should tell us what system they used to invite people in terms of having a more balanced representation. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right, Doctor. I was just listening to the update on the COVID numbers. They've gone down, but we're still not out of that huge risk. We still have a sort of a huge risk of COVID spreading. So we could easily turn these into super spreaders. So I just hope that the DMMU will provide sanitizers, will provide masks for everybody. And I think it will be very, very important for us to remind our viewers, when you're going for these events, make sure that you've got a mask. Make sure that you've got a hand sanitizer, because in case you don't find a mask where you're going, try by all means to make sure that you've got a mask, because we don't want to end up having a situation where the numbers go to what they were 4 weeks ago. Let's go to Warren. Where are you, Warren?
Yeah, hello. Thank you so much. I'm in Monze.
What's happening in Monze? What dollar?
Things are happening in Monze. It's like everyone is just happy and preparing to move. But as you have already alluded, it's like there are these restrictions where almost everyone wanted to travel, including myself. But because of what we heard on the radio, on the news, that it is strictly by invitation, and then people are beginning to think I may go there, but at the end, I just end up just roaming the streets without being having access to where the activity is taking place.
Okay. So, but what are the arrangements in Monze? Are people celebrating locally? Are you going to go to the stadium? What are you going to do yourself? Are you going to watch it from home?
Actually, personally, I'll be watching from home, but there are these arrangements that in town, I'm not very certain on the day, but in town, there will be a celebration where there will be meat. Actually, some cows will be slaughtered, and it will be done in zones. Other people will not be able to come to town because there will be too much congestion. So it is organized in such a way that other activities, other celebrations will be in other zones.
So what are these zones, Warren?
In Monze West, I'm aware of 2 zones. Just in Monze West, one will be in Chongos area, and the other one in Monze's area.
And have they already slaughtered these cows? And Dr. Kajila, I hope you are hearing this. You would have been eating a lot of meat tomorrow in Zambia. So, so a lot of meat, and Mkelewa is not here today. Mkelewa. So you've got all this meat ready, all the celebrations ready, and watching from home. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Warren. Let's go to Gladys.
Yeah.
What are you hearing, Gladys? Hi, Gladys. Are you able to hear us? Hi, Gladys. Gladys from Denmark. Are you able to hear us? No? Okay, let's go back to Musha is in a meeting now. Let's go back to Frank. Anything else you want to add, Frank? No? Everybody seems to be out. Warren, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Peter, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, General.
And Advocate Melissa, are you able to hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Fantastic. So while it's waiting for Gladys, let's hear what our members are saying online. I hear the Chipo Chazu says it is raining heavily in Kitwe. You people, in September, August, September, shower of blessings with the new government. Heavy rains in Kitwe, according to somebody. And a lot of people are confirming that there will be stadiums in Koloma, screens. And Lavel Habasali says, has Mamusi Maimane of South Africa been invited? Council Malisa, can you try and answer this question?
about Musi Maimane?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I wish I was one of the people doing the invitations. I mean, I would have invited myself. So
yeah, I just wish Mubita or somebody could be here to confirm that, or probably Honorable Cornelius Metwa, and they would have confirmed that, because I think if they did that, I think South African government would be very, very annoyed. But I wouldn't mind, actually, personally, I wouldn't mind inviting him. Then somebody called Osman Monga says Honorable Mcheleka has confirmed about Woodlands and Konkola Stadium, so which means it's good. Is our sister back in Denmark? Is Gladys back? No.
General.
So,
General,
go ahead,
on the issue of Musi Maimane, there's some press reports that are suggesting that he's been invited. And so I was excited to see that Professor PLO Lumumba could also be coming. I mean, and the irony of it is that the previous government blocked both of these individuals from coming. But also on the bigger point, apparently Odinga is already there, the Kenyan opposition, and so the idea of inviting both sitting heads of states and their opposition is a very good thing that HH is doing, because then it will force some of these guys to talk to each other, Chamisa and Mnangagwa and so on. So I just wanted to say that.
So have they confirmed that Odinga is already in the country?
I saw a picture showing him arriving in Lusaka. So unless it was a fake report, maybe those on the ground can confirm.
Okay, we will try and get a confirmation. Unfortunately, I don't know what's happening to our friend Jeremy is not in. I think he's preparing his suit for tomorrow's inauguration. And are you hearing anything, Advocate Melissa, about Odinga of Kenya?
Well, I'm hearing that Raila Odinga has been invited, but I'm not sure if he's around. But what I'm sure of is that the president of Botswana and the opposition are around. They are actually in the same hotel with Munchia. We actually had a chat with them today. Yeah, so
Musha is rubbing shoulders with the president. That man is powerful.
Yes. Musha is doing it in style. So
Fantastic.
yeah, the Botswana delegation, I can confirm. I saw them
Okay,
with my own eyes.
fantastic. So at least we know that they're foreign dignitaries. And I think the other thing which is very exciting is to hear that President Biden appointed a 3-man delegation to go and attend. Can you confirm that, Advocate Malisa or Dr. Kazila? I think I saw something. It was official from the American President's office, I think White House. Can you confirm that, Advocate Malisa?
Yeah, that's correct. There was a press release from the United States Embassy. There's a delegation consisting of the Secretary for Development, something like that. And then I think there are 5 people on that delegation, and the Charge d'Affaires in Lusaka, and another lady. So they actually have a high-powered delegation coming from this inauguration, which I find it very interesting. I think it's unprecedented that the U.S. government would send such a delegation. And already conspiracy theories are abound in Lusaka. You know how it is in Lusaka. People speculate about everything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's important to remind our viewers that the American ambassador was thrown out, and the charge d'affaires is a lower rank. And I just hope that after the inauguration, we will have the diplomatic relations with the US normalized with a full ambassador coming back. I hope so, because we had that frosty discussion between PF and the was it the former ambassador, the US ambassador, and it caused a lot of problems between the US and Zambia. So if they are sending a new upgrading the diplomatic relations, that's good. What are you hearing, Dr. Kazira? You are near General, America. What are you hearing?
Yeah, what's exciting is the person that is heading that delegation. She's one of our diaspora, Miss Ino Ibong. She's actually of Nigerian descent. So she's the one President Biden has given to lead the delegation to Zambia. So I think it has some symbolism there that America wants to foster Africans to actually be engaging with each other. It's quite common to send African Americans into Africa. I think for me, I see that as a positive thing. We need to create good links with people who are descendants of this great continent of Africa. So that to me was a highlight: a woman and a Black woman, an African woman representing the U.S. So that was excellent.
Yeah, I think what is important, sorry, General, what is important with this general election, and something that probably as Zambians we never realized. So my wife and I had the baby at the end of July, so I've been off work for a month, and today I went back to work for the first time. And I was just walking in the corridor, and one of the senior management said to me, "You came from Zambia. Me and my family, we were following the election." So even in the time, we didn't realize how big it was for whatever everybody talks about African democracy. And everybody was following, because everybody knew Zambia is one of the most democratic places in the country. And then there was rumor that there was this tension. So the whole world was watching to see what this place that is known as one of the most democratic places in the world is going to do. So there were so many eyes on this little country of ours. And I think the whole country have done us really, really, really proud. It was significant, because in making the choices that people make, it raised confidence in other countries. And people are able to say, I can look back to going to Zambia. And what this person said to me was, I was looking at that election because we got a holiday booked, and we are going to decide if we go there depending on who wins. So it was very significant in so many areas, in not just the diplomatic way, in tourism as well. Very significant. And everybody who cast that vote that day, they were casted. When I think about it now, not being there, everybody who went to vote on that day, they were putting literally the future of the country vote by vote. And I'm so proud that the country have gone the right way, and we're already seeing the impact of making the choices that the people of Zambia made.
Yeah, our viewers had referred to Odinga. It's supposed to be Raila Odinga.
It's Raila.
Odinga was
yes.
the father of Raila. I'm sorry for that.
It was my mistake. It's Raila.
That's what
yes.
that's what happens when you're too old. You remember the Odingas and the Jomo Kenyattas. It's Raila Odinga, the son of Odinga. And Chamisa, somebody saying Manli Mukuma Sindambi is saying, Bobby, I wish Bobby Wine and Malema would be invited too. But I don't know what you gentlemen think. How do you think the Zimbabwean president feels? And how do you think President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, thinks to have the opposition leaders being invited to Zambia?
I think we've got to be very careful.
Just a minute, Frank. Let me start with Advocate Malisa.
Okay, the Zimbabwean president was on record as having said that what is happening in Zambia can never happen in Zimbabwe. I think there were videos that were going around where Mr. Mnangagwa said, if you think changing a government like in Zambia, he said something like, wake up from your nightmare or something like that. So I think that it's actually a good thing to invite the opposition leaders, because we need to encourage the dialogue. Politics is not enmity, as we see it. And I think Zambia has set a shining example to the rest of Africa that you can actually remove a government with the stroke of a pen. And that is something that we need to safeguard jealously and not let the gains of this change to slip from our hands. That's what I can say, because it's unprecedented that we can actually change governments by just putting an X on a piece of paper 3 times. That's something that everyone should be proud of achieving.
I think it's very, very good. To me, it reminds me of 1991, the change in 1991, because it shook the whole continent. It shook the whole region and the continent. And it really, really has shaken, this change has shaken the region. And I think we've got Gladys back, and let's go to Gladys. Gladys, we're talking about the invitations, the preparations for the inauguration tomorrow, and the invitation cards. We're also told that there are stadiums which have been opened up. What are you hearing, Gladys? I know you're in Denmark. What are you hearing? No. Today, Gladys is, okay, she's on. Can you just tell us what you think, Gladys?
Can you say it again? Sorry, I was a little bit away.
Yeah, we are talking about the inauguration, the invitations of the opposition leaders, the invitation cards. We are also talking about the actual preparations. We're told there are cows being slaughtered in Southern Province, and some of the cows going to Lusaka for meat. The whole country will be eating meat tomorrow. And so we are saying, what are you hearing from Denmark? And we're also told neighboring dignitaries have been invited, including opposition leaders from Zimbabwe and South Africa, and opposition leader from Kenya as well, Raila Odinga. So what are you hearing from Denmark?
Yes, what I've been hearing, I've been seeing things going on social media, like being slaughtering the cows, which I feel is kind of iconical to show also about our president's culture, and also to show that he is a farmer. That is very nice. But apparently, knowing that we've been going through a phase where there's a lot of poverty, and people have been having a lot of, they've been looking forward to attend the inauguration tomorrow. So it has it has brought both good and bad in the sense that it's a pity we don't know how the opposition have been acquiring the invitation cards, which might bring some kind of stampede. It's just an anticipation that people want to go, and they just probably or possibly cannot accept that somebody from the opposition have been having an upper hand, and probably it would be ideal to bring up, which I think you've mentioned it a little bit, to bring up about to bring the screens outside so that they can give also provisions for the people in the compounds, both from far away and people nearby, so that they have they can watch what is going on, and they feel that they are part of the inauguration, and give also an opportunity for the people who are coming from far away. I think the people are coming from far away, probably they could stay away and stay at home and watch from home, because regardless that people have been getting the vaccination, they should not forget that COVID is real, and despite that you've been having vaccination, you can still catch the COVID, this Delta thing. I've had I know a few people who have been vaccinated, but they still get COVID. So just to be safe, because it's big, but it's not the first time. The president is going to be there for the next 5 years, hopefully for the next 10 years, that there'll be other events, even though this is more bigger than other events. There'll be an opportunity to get together with the president. It's better to be safe than to be sorry. And also, I'm also proud. I've been hearing about that a lot of leaders from the opposition outside the country will be visiting Zambia to come and witness. Just like you said, like the 1991, this was not anticipated that this could happen. It also sends a signal how peaceful the Zambians we are, and it's like returning the seat. The lost seat in the parliament. We Zambians, we are proud to say that we've retained the seat of being the peaceful nation worldwide. And it also teaches the leaders who are still fighting, like for example, Uganda, who's been fighting about power, who cannot let go. It's a big lesson to our neighboring countries, and also both to opposition and the people who cannot let go of power, that there is life after politics. So I think this is big.
Thank you so much, Gladys. I'm just getting a confirmation here from Rebecca Becky. She's one of the UPND media team in the global team. She's saying 10 heads of state are attending. Rebecca, can you confirm those 10, please? If it's coming from you, I know it's correct. So can you confirm those for our viewers, Rebecca? And let's go to Beauty, Dagan. What are you hearing, Beauty? No, Beauty is not answering. Okay, let's come down to the situation at home. Our viewers, we've been seeing the local leaders as well, meeting HH, preparing themselves. One of them was Dr. Nevas Mumba, who went and met the incoming president, was it yesterday? And giving a lot of advice. Another one was Edith Nawaki. She didn't go to meet the president, but she wrote a letter congratulating the incoming president and giving a lot of advice. What else are you hearing in Lusaka? Peter?
For today, I didn't hear anything. I saw the letter that Edith Nawaki wrote, but though I was not happy with it anyway, because what I really, General, you know, what I really expected from Edith Nawaki was the first thing was her to render an apology, because what she did or what she said about the president was out of politics. And even though that's how politics go, but on the character assassination, of the president. She was really supposed to apologize. That's when she was supposed to proceed to really congratulate the president. I think I'm not really happy with the letter, and I'm not really think Edith Nawaki is seriously with what she's saying. Those are the people which should be forgiven, but the president should not forget not to bring such people near his administration.
Warren, what do you think about the local leaders, Edith Nawaki and I know Frank is itching to say something there. I can tell. Let's give Warren a chance, and then Frank, and then we'll go to David Akazila. What's your take, Warren?
Thank you, General. Yeah, this is what is happening, really. I saw the letter from Edith Nawaki, not only herself on social media. Social media is just full of people, even the cadres, the notorious, the most notorious, the most thugs, promising to join and work with HH. So I think the joining that they are intending to do is they are not genuine. Actually, it's like they are just running away from something. They are scared, so they want to hide. They are doing like they want to behave like a louse, where a louse will hide within your own clothes, so that later it will still feed on your blood. So I think that should not be accepted. Even if politics is politics, I don't want to agree that politics is a dirty game, but I just want, personally, I believe politics becomes dirty when it is being done by dirty people, but not that it is dirty on its own. Thank you, General.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to Frank. Local leaders visiting HH and congratulating him.
First of all, there's something that's been mentioned. There have been if they're going to apologize to HH. First thing is, it's not going to happen. They're not going to apologize. Whether they apologize privately, they're not going to do that publicly. They're never going to come out and say I was wrong, but they're always going to say congratulations. And it happens. They know now he's going to be the president of the country, and everybody would turn around and they would say congratulations. We've seen everybody who's been sending insults from Edith Nawaki to Chishimba Kambwili, everyone been saying congratulations and everything else, because now they know he is in charge. And even though the president himself has said he's focused on developing the country than arresting all the people who are saying things for them, they're still focusing on that. And there's a lot of ingenuity. Their apologies is just ingenuous. They're not really genuine in what they're doing. They've literally gone from this is the worst person we want as a president and throwing insults at him to congratulations and going to his house. It's all about they never thought about the people, they thought about themselves. Straight away, all the people who are siding with PF, they're quickly running to say congratulations to HH at his house. You know what they're doing? They just run to whoever who's in power. To me, it's not genuine.
Dr. Kazila, what's your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think on the issue of Edith Nawaki, I fully understand why citizens are upset when a woman, a lady who we once held in high esteem goes about behaving like somebody uncouth and calling names to the president, and the Hatembo story is still unresolved. She accused HH of adopting those people. There's a lot of stuff that's still uncleared, and I think that's why us as citizens are not happy with saying niceties to somebody who you've been insulting without first dealing with the elephant in the room. So I think politically, I read the letter carefully, and I could see she emphasized that she was writing as FDD president. And I think she was merely exercising her right as a political fellow opposition leader that she has responded. But I think behind that, we have to take the congratulations with a pinch of salt, and I'm sure it's accepted, but that does not normalize the relationships and normalize things. So I think we have to separate the two. And people are a little bit too sensitive in fearing to say any nice things about each other. Sometimes you can actually say something nice to someone. In the next minute, you take them to task about their activities and what they did in the past, which they haven't resolved. So I think he'll be all right. I think HH understands. He will accept the congratulations. But will he stop the court case? We don't know. We're yet to see what happens.
One of our viewers, something very controversial. One of our viewers says, yes, Margaret, I think it's Margaret Pirish, says, we are going to be celebrating tomorrow. Don't you think we will need to have a 1 minute of silence for the people who died during the last 10 years? And for me, that's a very, very, very emotional time tomorrow to think of Vespers, to think of Chipalo, to think of Lawrence Banda, to think of all the people who died. And not only that, to think of the people who ran into exile. Well, people going into exile because they were threatened. So I don't know, is our learned lawyer still here? No?
I don't see him.
Pete, you're still here, sir. Are you still with us?
Me?
The learned lawyer, our lawyer, Mr. Counsel Melissa. No. Okay, Peter, what do you think about what our sister Margaret Curry said that we should do tomorrow? We'll be celebrating. Let's think of the people who died, who were killed.
That's really an important thing to do because, you know, General, in these 10 years we've been in PF, it has really been a tough time where people have been slaughtered like cows and without them being followed, without them being regarded. In the issue of them given, you know, we really need to remember those people. That time of silence to remember them should be really given to them. But looking at the program, did you see the program, the program arrangement that was made for tomorrow?
Yes, I've got the program. We've got the program. What's wrong with that program, Peter?
There is no problem about it. But I'm just looking at where can we place that same program of thinking about people who really died in this period. Just a minute. So I really think I would love to plead to the nation that those people who died in a political way should be remembered tomorrow, because these people who really died in this fight, they were fighting for this freedom which we have achieved today. And if they were there today, they could have been the happiest people. And on behalf of them, I'm really down to earth that the nation or the state or the president himself, because the president has been talking about these people all along in his speeches. What the president wanted was to see justice for Vespers. The president wanted to see justice for people like this one, this man who was shot
Samantha and Joseph Kaunda.
Yes, the president wanted those people to be mourned and to be remembered. So I really plead with the nation that at least just a minute of thinking about those people. We didn't need to mourn those people as a nation. I think that's very important to me.
Well, before I move on to Beauty, if she's there, I only hope and pray, and I think the president will raise that in his speech. It's very difficult to raise everything in a speech, in an inauguration speech. But knowing what our president is, he will never forget these people. And I just hope and pray that his speech will include the actual naming of these people who died. There is a long list of people who died, a long list of people who were shot, a long list of people who were detained illegally, and even those two who were shot by the police on the 23rd of December, and a long list of people who ran away from our country. So I'm not sure what, Warren, what do you think is happening? What do you think should happen to the people who died?
Yeah, thank you. For sure, a minute of silence has to be done, has to be rendered. Actually, to me, and not only to me, but it's like to almost everyone, this is another independence that we have gained. Because independence, it doesn't mean only when you are bound with the colonial masters or foreign forces, and when you are freed, that is the only independence. I think this is another independence from our own leaders, our own citizens. And actually, I always try to ask other people what I feel. To tell you, General, right now, I asked more than 10 people how they are feeling. Personally, the weather, actually, the atmosphere that I'm enjoying from the day when the elections were announced, it's like about 30 years ago when I was growing. Even the breeze, you can even hear that you can even feel I've now reached my home, as if there was, I don't know whether there were spirits in the air or what, but I think everyone is just enjoying something that cannot be explained well has happened. And some of our colleagues are not here today to celebrate with us. So I think it's really important that we do something in remembrance to them, because they also did their part, and maybe more than ourselves, because with them they even reached to the extent of losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And a lot of people are tending to agree that we need to remember our people who died. What do you think, Gladys?
Yes, I totally agree with my previous, I don't know what is his name, said that this time it's like the time of independence again. It's like Zambia has gained independence. We've been liberated, and we have to take that moment of silence when those people, majority of the people who died during fighting for freedom. Because I remember that day when and Samansama and Kaunda died. Actually, I was watching live. I just saw some tear gases, and then suddenly the next moment I saw was somebody going down with blood all over. I got scared. My phone fell off. And we still don't have the answers of what happened that day, even though they suspended, was it the IG, for 6 months. We're still waiting for those answers. You can just imagine what the families are going through today. It's like we've gotten independence. Those parents of somebody's children, they would have been here today celebrating together with their fathers, with their mothers. So really, they have to be remembered. It's like they died during fighting for freedom. So we are liberated today. So they have to be given a moment of silence.
Thank you so much. And one of our viewers is saying that we should also remember the people women who were undressed. I remember one woman was undressed on Independence Day, and a lot of UPND women. That lady was at the market being assaulted more than 5 times. A lot of doctors being assaulted because they were not attending to PF cadres on time. A lot of them being retired. Chapa Wakunguma is one of them. A 29-year-old doctor being retired from as a doctor, and lots of people were retired. Dr. Kajila, what's your comment about that? I know we've got people who died, and then those who actually were fired, retired in so-called public interest.
Let me yes, General. I mean, I think all those people we've mentioned need some kind of recognition, and I agree with a minute of silence. But General, you've extended it to others who have suffered the consequences of either standing up for their rights or being victimized. I think retribution will probably take place in the new administration, and each of those cases will be looked at individually and be sorted out. But I'm not sure that we need to bring that into the inauguration itself. I do agree with what you said about our president himself. If he feels very strongly that that minute of silence should be done, as part of his speech, he could start off by observing a minute of silence for all people whose lives were lost through political upheaval. And I think that would be a good starting point. But again, there are issues to do with, with international, with projecting an image to the world of Zambia being a peaceful country. And so bringing up those issues may kind of counter, because there are some people who haven't followed all those things. But I'm not saying we should wrap it under the table, but I think there are protocols that may wish to be followed. But I think as UPND, on a separate note, that can be done within the confines of the party as a whole. So that's what I think.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kajira. And ladies and gentlemen, we've done 1 hour and 10 minutes. We have 20 minutes to spare. And I wanted to bring something very controversial here. Dr. Kajira, did you still want to say something, sir? Dr. Kajira, can you unmute your mic? Can you unmute yourself? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, just that, I don't know if you'll talk about the Secretary to the Treasury's cancellation of all those contracts and loans. And if we have a legal person here to tell us, is that normal to do just before the inauguration of the new president?
I wanted to bring those two controversial issues. And there is also another one of Bishop Treasury saying council closed the Ministry of Religious Affairs. So those are two controversial ones. I would like us to start with the Ministry of Religious Affairs. And Bishop Fundu says that ministry must be scrapped. And then we'll come to the next topic, which is the Secretary of the Treasury saying that all the contracts and all the agreements were cancelled. And I'm not a lawyer. I will speak as a layman. I just wish Munsha and all these lawyers were here. And then the third controversial one is from State Counsel John Sangwa, saying if Dr. Lungu will be found with a case, don't rush to take his immunity away. But if you investigate and find evidence, he wants to prosecute the case himself. So let's start with the issue of the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Unfortunately, we don't have the Pentecostals today. Musha is not here. Jerome is not here. So I'll go to Beauty. Are you available now?
Hello, I'm available, and I'm happy that you brought that on board. I'm really happy. I've been fighting with this. I didn't, for a very long time. For me, Zambia has tended to be a playground for every Mickey Mouse religion from outside the country. They can come in at any time and start their, church and ministry and call themselves prophets and start prophesying a lot of nonsense to the organization. To the country, a well-respected country. Now we have, I don't want to mention one country, but a lot of Nigerians that have come to Zambia, and now some of them, like Ian Genesis, calling himself a Zambian. Look at his face. You can see the bone structure of his face. He's purely Nigerian. When did he become Zambian? Exactly when? And him speaking the way he's speaking about our leader, or HH is going to, resign himself by 2022 or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. And the police are listening to that and letting that guy speak the way he When you look at his church, I'll give you a really good example for those that haven't seen what is happening in his own church. The members of his congregation kneel down on their knees, and I mean on their knees. I live in Canada. I would never kneel down to Justin Trudeau. Neither would I ever kneel down to Joe Biden. Why are we letting such nonsense happen to our people? I was watching one of the programs where he was being rebuked by a gentleman called Solomon from South Africa, telling him, this picture that's gone viral, you're asking the members of your congregation to kneel down on their knees. Are they now starting to worship you, or are they worshiping God? Which is it? I think for me, that should be it, either scrapped, or what we're going to have to say now is anybody that comes in the country is teaching the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ and not healing. Full stop. We want to see a change in that. What's wrong with the churches that we used to go to? And what's wrong with CMML? What's wrong with Baptist? Even the Ben Hines of nowadays are now apologizing and saying the gospel of Jesus Christ is not for sale. Why are we letting this happen in Zambia? It's an absolute disgrace. And yes, I think that should be scrapped. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Beauty. We have too many prophets in Zambia. I think since 2010, too many prophets. Let's welcome Siafunda and Mwamba Jr. We are on the topic of the Minister of Religious Affairs. Bishop Mpundu says, let's scrap it because they just employed cadres. And he was right. The minister was a cadre. The permanent secretary was a cadre. Everybody was a cadre in that ministry. And what do you think, Siafunda? Over to you, Siafunda. Can you unmute yourself? No? Siafunda is not able to unmute yourself. Mwamba Junior.
Thank you, General. I've been waiting in the background for a long time. I've missed to comment on other serious topics. However, let me continue on the topic of scrapping off the Minister of Guidance and Religious Affairs.
General, is it me?
That ministry.
Just a minute, Mr. Mwamba. Siafunda, can you mute yourself, sir? Can you just mute yourself? I've got somebody already queued up. You'll be the next one. Can you just mute yourself, sir? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Mwamba.
Yeah, so you see the Minister of Guidance and Religious Affairs is the worst thing that has ever happened to Zambia. And I tend to agree with the Teres Pompund when he says it should be scrapped off. The only thing I can remember that ministry in the previous regime, the only thing I can remember what it did was to stop a musician who came to Zambia without an underwear. But they were quiet all the times we had people like in Samansama being killed, all the violations of human rights. The ministry was quiet. I don't even know why that minister got a gratuity to begin with. So if the incoming
can you just give me a minute? Warren, please, can you make sure that you are muted, please? I'm getting a feedback from your microphone. Warren, yeah. Warren, can you mute yourself, please?
Try to mute me. I'm unable to mute. I don't know what is happening. Try to mute me.
Okay. If there's something on the background, whether a television, can you just switch it off, please? Go ahead, Mwamba.
Yes. So what I'm saying is, I don't even understand why that nominated member of parliament, who was also made a minister, why she got her gratuity and whatever benefits. Because she never guided, to begin with, she failed to guide the president. The president made a lot of mistakes with his team. The resources were rooted, daylight robbery, when we had the Minister of Guidance and Religious to provide guidance. Even when it came to the day of prayer, 18th of October, we saw a lineup of false prophets who were preaching hate instead of preaching hope and uniting the country. So if we are to move forward as a nation, the incoming president and his team should not even have any idea to think of bringing that ministry back. We already have a lot of churches in Zambia. We have pastors that have been doing the right thing without a ministry in place. So that one, it should be, it should be history. It goes with the PF. We don't need it going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwamba Jr. Let's go to Sia. Let's be brief, please. Siafunda Kennedy. Siafunda, can you unmute yourself, sir? We are still on the Ministry of Guidance and Religious Affairs. No? Advocate Marisa, do you have any opinion on that?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Go ahead, sir.
I think one thing we need to learn is that...
Mr. Tiafunda, there's a problem with your mic. Can you mute yourself, please, sir? Your signal is very weak, and I think there's a problem, so it's interfering. We can't hear you, so I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Advocate Marisa.
Yeah, I would like to agree with the previous speaker, Mr. Mamba, that the Ministry of Religion, National Guidance, it's called Ministry of National Guidance and Religion, really hasn't added any value to this country, if truth be told. I think it was just a waste of money because we really don't know what they do. Except banning musicians from coming to Zambia, I don't know what guidance they've given the country. So I would agree with the bishop that that ministry needs to be disbanded ASAP. In fact, if HH can do it tomorrow before the end of the day, even better. It's a strain on our national resources. We're even better off with the Ministry of Technology or something else. As Karl Marx said, in Africa, totalitarianism, or should I say dictatorship, is usually veiled behind religion. And that is working on the ignorance of the masses or on the gullibility of the masses. You want to hide behind God for your misdeeds. You can't on one hand say we have a minister of religion who is oblivious to the human rights abuses that were happening, who is aloof when national resources are being looted. I think that is the greatest form of hypocrisy, and we don't need it. Whatever anyone says, I can see people are saying, no, children of Satan. There is nothing that connects governance with religion. Those are two separate things, and people should not get it twisted.
Thank you so much.
If you are going to be...
Okay, go ahead, Advocate. If you still want to add something,
yeah,
just
I wanted to say that we should not use God or hide behind God for our own incompetence. If you are a leader, you are put in a leadership position. You need to lead the people. You need to show why you are chosen to be in that position. You cannot come and tell us that God this, God that. I think people have started taking the name of God in vain. And one such taking the name of the Lord in vain is the so-called Ministry of Religion and National Guidance. I think let it go like yesterday. We don't need it anymore.
Thank you so much, Council. Zebron Shavunga says the Religious Affairs Ministry must be scrapped. It was a waste of space. It served no purpose, useless, according to him. And I can see the usual Pentecostal characters trying to attack the other churches. I'm not going to read their comments. I'm not going to glorify you, Shalom, for saying something which is awful. I'm not going to do that. And we will not even glorify you by blocking you, because you are attacking the Catholic Church, and I will not allow that to happen. So let's give Dr. Kajila 1 minute and Gladys 1 minute on the religious affairs.
Let me make it clear that I am a Christian, a born-again Christian, and I love the Lord. But this ministry, I don't see what purpose. I agree with Advocate Melissa and others who have said that, you know, a ministry is a very big institution that draws a lot of money from the government coffers. Just to run a ministry, I mean, when they wake up on a Monday morning and go to work, what are they doing? What are the policies they are making in that ministry that would be useful for the country? Informing it, were there clear objectives that were set out to say this ministry's objective is to achieve this? What was the mission of that ministry? So I think there's a lot of, I agree with you that there's a lot of playing to the gallery here. Politicians like using the name of God for their own political expediency. And because they know the vulnerability, gullibility of our people, they use Christianity to use as a tool. So I'm against that, and I think that this ministry serves no purpose. If the president felt that he needed advisors that are religious advisors, that can be as simple. You can only have 1 or 2 people to advise the president and pray with him, like we've seen in our past presidents. So I agree with you, and so I agree with you.
Gladys, 30 seconds. The Ministry of Religious Affairs, and then we'll have I think 5 minutes maximum, 10 to wind up on the instruction by the Secretary of the Treasury, will be advised by our advocate here, Melissa. So let's sum up on the ministry, Gladys.
Yes, please. Thank you. The religious ministry affairs, it has to be trashed immediately because it never stood out when there has been this group of thugs, the Kalimanshi family, to speak for the Zambian people. And the money that ministry has been getting, it should be accounted for and get it and take it back to the youth, empowering the jobless, and also to the meal allowance for the university students instead of misusing the government the state's funds.
Thank you so much for that. And my view is very, very clear. I've always said it. I'm a Christian, but that ministry is a waste of time. I just hope HH and the team will scrap it off and direct our resources. And we're all agreeing here. And I know that we have got Pentecostals on this chart calling us sons, as children of Satan. We're not. We're just being realistic. And our policy at Kawakwet is that we don't block people. But I think if we continue getting disgraceful messages from these Pentecostals, we'll block you. I would love to have a good discussion because we're all Christians. There's nobody who's more Christian than others. We're all Christians in Zambia. The majority of us are Christians, but don't make one church to try and be more Christian than others. Nobody should be holier than others. And that's what I can say. I will not name the people who have been coming here on our chat, trying to say that we are children of Satan. We are not. So let's have 5 minutes. The secretary, Chola, you're coming a bit late, Chola. You are most welcome all the same. And Musonda Best, you're also coming late. There is a very good topic for you to wind up. The Secretary of the Cabinet issues an instruction that all the loans and all the payments which were done must be cancelled. Parliament was dissolved 3 months ago. These people in PF were still signing new contracts, so they were still giving each other payments. They were still paying each other, good salaries and supplying things to government and paying each other. Today, is it yesterday, the Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury says all these contracts are going to be null and void. And I think our lawyer, what do you think is happening, Advocate Melissa? What's happening?
Okay, this is a bit strange, I think, and it's still doing rounds, and debate is rife in the legal fraternity. So I'm sure the Law Association of Zambia will issue a statement to this regard. But if you're asking for my personal opinion, and I'm speaking for myself, I think what the Secretary to the Treasury is saying is kind of unprecedented. I don't know if they know something that we don't, because there's a lot of speculation that is going around, and one of the news that is hitting the headlines today is that of the Attorney General accepting to pay one lawyer in Lusaka about $4.2 million. I think people have seen that one. So I don't know if the Secretary to the Treasury is trying to subvert such acts happening. And if you look at the letter, he's citing section 7(1)(z) of the Public Finance Act, which says that the Secretary to the Treasury shall carry out any functions that may be prescribed by the minister or that may be considered reasonably necessary for proper financial management of the Republic. So as we all know, there are no ministers in place. So the issue of a minister falls off, which means he's acting on the second limb of the provision, which says that may be considered reasonably necessary for proper financial management of the Republic. So what we're seeing here is the Secretary to the Treasury stepping in to try and stop government departments and parastatals from entering into contracts or indeed spending money. And then what is curious is the next paragraph says this is with effect from the time the president-elect HH was declared as president. So I don't know where that leaves what happened during election time and prior to the elections, because a lot of money was being spent, contracts were being entered into. So I don't know why the Secretary to the Treasury has pinpointed 16th of August, which is the day that the election results were announced, up to now. I think that is kind of strange. And I think these people know something that they are not telling us. But from the face of it, it's like they're trying to stop pilferage of national resources at this late hour. I don't know if that works or not, and I don't know the legality of the Secretary to the Treasurer pronouncing that all contracts entered by government departments are null and void. I personally don't think he has the power to do that. But that's my personal opinion. I don't think he has the power to nullify any contract. The contract has been entered into by a validly constituted government department. Then it should be valid. Anyway, we wait and see. I'm expecting a lot of litigation to come out of this. Interesting time to be a lawyer, General. A lot of strange things are happening.
I think this is the most bizarre instruction I've ever seen during the transition period. Musha, you are the lawyer.
Strange.
You have just joined us. The Secretary of the Treasury issues instructions that there will be no contracts, no payments, no nothing. All the contracts signed within the 90 days will be null and void. And Advocate Malisa also added something which I didn't want to add. Another lawyer paid some millions of kwacha because the Attorney General agreed that he had made. So what's your view, Musha, before I give each one of our viewers 30 seconds, basically, because I want to wind up because I'm packing up my bags. Musha, maximum 2 minutes, Musha.
Yes, General. I think I'll need to review the issue of the lawyer who has been given $4.2 million. It's definitely a lot more money than one would expect a court would award in those circumstances. it does not make sense. I don't think there is any individual in Zambia who's been awarded such an amount of money for damages about anything. I don't see it. Even if it meant personal injury, as in a person gets hurt, $4.2 million is a lot of money. And assuming that this gentleman suffered loss of professional reputation, it would still not be $4.2 million. So I wonder what that is all about. I don't want to judge my friend Likando Kalaloka too much, who is the Attorney General of Zambia, but this is definitely strange and it stinks. So they need to tell us a little bit more about that. Couldn't he have waited for the new government to come in, perhaps, to give fresh instructions? Maybe he was instructed that as a government lawyer, he needed to enter this consent judgment, but maybe he should have just applied his ethical principles and say, no, he wasn't going to sign on it, ask for a court to move the matter until he receives a new client. That's reasonable, because the government is a going concern. And so if you are anticipating that there's going to be a complete different direction in future as an attorney general, you must say, no, you must ask a judge to say, please put it off to another time when we get a new political, we receive fresh political instructions from the government, and put it off. Yeah, I'm not sure what the other issue was, General. What was it?
The other issue was this Secretary to the Treasury issuing instructions that all the agreements, all the loans, all the payments were made in the last 3 months are null and void.
In the last 3 months? How would yeah.
From the day Parliament was dissolved, new contracts, which it looks like the civil servants were entering into new contracts, because I don't understand how they could enter into new contracts when Parliament was dissolved. There was no government who was entering into these new contracts and used payments. And the information I'm getting this evening is that one of the contracts was on oil.
I think it's
to a company to supply oil during this period of 3 months so that they could make money. So
the Lungu curse. You know what, people? May the curse of Edgar Chagwa Lungu never return to our country. This is not normal. This is not a normal way of governing a country. I don't know what else to say. And the curse is about to go in a few hours. I hope it never returns.
Thank you so much, Musha. Vamsonda Best, I'm only giving you 1 minute, sir, because you joined us a bit late. What's your take about the story of the Secretary to the Treasury and this big lawyer given $4.3 million US compensation?
General, before he comes in, a correction. The Secretary to the Treasury said that all contracts entered from 16th of August, which is the day that HH was announced winner, to today.
16th of August. 16th of August.
Yes, 16th of August. That's what the letter is saying. It's in front of me right now. So he's saying, maybe I can read it for you. It says, following the declaration of President-elect Mr. Hakainde Hichilema as duly elected President of the 2021 presidential election on Monday, 16th August 2021, I wish to advise that all government, all agreements and contracts relating to loans, guarantees, concessions, public-private partnerships.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we mute ourselves? There's somebody with a phone ringing. Thank you. Go ahead, Advocate Malita.
He's saying, I wish to advise that all agreements and contracts relating to loans, guarantees, concessions, public-private partnerships, civil works, ICT solutions, and for the supply of goods and services to government entered into after the declaration are null and void unless cleared by my office through the Office of the Accountant General. So this is what he's saying. So he's saying anything that was paid for or any agreement that was entered for since the 16th when HH won the elections, unless it was cleared by his office, is now in void. That is what the Secretary to the Treasury is saying. So I thought I should correct that. Not the past 3 months, but from the 16th.
So that is still interesting, which means, first of all, why? Why now? And how have they been entering into contracts when there was no real government? So, Vamsonda, Best. Can you unmute
Hello.
yourself, sir? Go
Hello,
ahead, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Evening. It's so suspicious, and how people just think at on the 11th hour start doing things on the back door in the background. They didn't see this coming, that they will lose the elections. They thought everything will be okay. They can do their own mathematics. I'm sure he's getting instructions from someone, because I mean, if this thing of trying to cancel everything at the 11th hour, if they had won the elections, all these things would have not been known. It would have been just been like, okay, it's oros, it's fine, life goes on. I'm sure there are some, well, this is just my own opinion. There are some party members who have contracts which were pending and they're waiting to be paid. So now, to protect themselves, they issue that statement. We don't have ministers. We are coming from an election. And how does he issue that election? How does he issue that statement? To protect who? Are they protecting Zambians, or are they protecting individuals? That's the question I have. And I'm not seeing it to be Zambian. It's just protecting selfish, greedy individuals within their inner circles. I think that's my opinion.
Ngosa Huru Chanda said the crooks need serious follow-up. We need our money back to Apapata. And let's go to Isaac. Isaac.
General, one more thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think we need a very serious forensic audit in all these institutions. We need to know who got a 15 way, a 20 way. We should not say we're a Christian nation, we need to forgive. Look, in the SEC Act, I've read that act, I've never seen where it is written, we need to forgive. No, it's clear. If I've taken Chukwachi, I need to go to court and let the court clear me or prove me guilty or innocent. Why should now people start preaching about forgiving? Now everyone in Zambia from the PF side is a pastor. They're preaching forgiveness. Forgiveness over what? That's my question. No wonder now we're seeing this fake prophets now.
And let's move on to Isaac. Isaac Chawinga, 1 minute, sir.
Good evening, General, and good evening, sir. Friends of Zambia. General, I only have one concern, and my concern is that why are they trying to clean up their image in the last minute? Because HH has already crossed the finish line. He's already president, even if we're just waiting for inauguration tomorrow. But he's already president just by that mere pronunciation, pronouncement by the Chief Justice on election day. I believe that at this moment, there is nothing that they can do, any cleanup act that they can come up with will not overshadow what has been happening for the past 10 years. The only thing that we need going forward, I would pray that tomorrow, the inauguration speech that the president-elect, who will be the president sworn in tomorrow, will do, is establish policy direction that is going to outline how these institutions are going to work in terms of, having the right procedure when it comes to giving contracts, awarding contracts, and what is supposed to be done, the right paperwork. We don't want to continue hearing stories of honeybee and, our money, our hard-earned, resources going to waste or just benefiting a few people. This is absurd, and it is painful. For the past 10 years, people, even people living in the diaspora, we've been ashamed to call ourselves Zambians because of the mediocrity that has surrounded, the way that our country is being run. And I pray that tomorrow we're going to hear clear policy direction. We're going to hear, good economic guidelines that are going to, encourage, this developmental atmosphere that we have started seeing and feeling, even from the outside. We're hearing, investors are getting, excited to go and invest in Zambia, not because we have a good leadership that is coming, but because we have sort of a ray of sunlight to show that there are people who think in a particular way who are coming to put things in the right order. I believe that cleanup acts are not necessary in the last minute. And borrowing your words that you've been using with Council Munsha in the past, kelenka. These are kelenka kind of antics that they're trying to do in the last minute. Okay, so we know that people have stolen and people have to be dealt with accordingly, according to the law. We don't want to see the president following up people, but we want to see institutions on their own pursuing thieves, prosecuting thieves and making sure that these people who have stolen from the country are held accountable. That is what we want to see, and that's the good report that we want to hear about our country. Thank you so much, General.
Thank you so much, Isaac. The last three in this order, Chola, Beauty, and Gladys, you sum us up. So Chola, over to you. 1 minute, sir. No, let's go to Beauty. Beauty, 1 minute.
Hi, General. Allow me to use the word Banyala. I think that's the right word I'm going to use. I think they've made a mistake. They think by HH having said that he's forgiven Lungu or whatever it is, that he's forgiven everything. Banyala. They will go and pay for whatever they've done. And I'm not a lawyer, but it all sounds very suspicious. So let the law do its part, play its part. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, beautiful contribution. Gladys, remember the guidance we've got from Advocate Melissa is since HH was declared president, they want those loans which were signed to be null and void. Over to you, Gladys.
Yes, please. I think I would say the same thing, just like Beauty said, from top down. I think it's time for cleaning up and accountability, starting from the councils, the Ministry of Land, there's health. There's a lot of filthy things which have been happening. I think for the government to start on a clean note, they have to clean up. They have to clean up completely. Otherwise, it will mess up the government and it will be very difficult to be transparent. So it's cleaning up time right from the start.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Our viewers, tonight we looked at the invitation cards, the preparation for inauguration tomorrow. We talked about the cows which are going to be slaughtered in Southern Province. We talked about the numbers going to the Hero Stadium. We also talked about the other stadiums being opened up tomorrow. We are told thousands of people are moving from provinces coming to Lusaka. And our discussion tonight also looked at the people who have been invited to the inauguration, including heads of states, opposition leaders from Zimbabwe and South Africa. We also looked at the controversial Minister of Religious Affairs and Guidance, whatever it is called. We also looked at the last minute instructions by the Attorney General, the Treasury Secretary to the Treasury, to cancel some of the loans which were contracted after HH was really announced as president. We've agreed here that majority of our viewers have agreed that the ministry has to be scrubbed. The Minister of Religious Affairs and Guidance has to be scrubbed. And we've also agreed that there's something suspicious about the last minute instructions. But we also wish our viewers tomorrow that they should enjoy the inauguration, especially those who are going to Hero Stadiums. Please don't fill that stadium because we still have COVID. So to sum it up, and from Scotland, I say over to Musha.
All right, thank you very much for letting me have a meeting here with Honorable Chipoka Mlenga. It was a very brief meeting, but of course, I'm a politician's but I think we had a great time. We got talking about Chwempala and the mutual interest that we share about our birthplace. And so good night. God bless you. See you tomorrow after the inauguration, or perhaps after the press conference. We are not sure how it all goes. But tomorrow is a big day. We'll see you. Yes, I do have a card, but it's just one card for one person. One card. PF Tababa Bueno. Anyway, thank you very much. Good night and God bless you. Remember, for those that are sending stars, please do so. For those that want to be members of our page, please do so by subscribing. On YouTube as well, you can send virtual gifts and everything else, because we want them. God bless you and God bless our country. Thank you so much for the support that we receive from all of you. We appreciate you.
Good night from the man who's on transit on the way to the airport tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you in Zambia in a day's time, 2 days' time. Thank you so much and good night. And
good night.
Let's continue to pray for our country and pray for the new president. God bless everybody.
Good night. Right. General, one more thing. Can we just 5 minutes for you after everyone goes? Can we talk in the background? 5 minutes.
Musha is in charge of that. I'm trying to pack my bag. Musha, go ahead, sir.
Oh.